Hello friends. So we have completed unit number 1 and unit number 2 so far. Now let us see the unit number 3, that is reaction water turbine. In unit number 2 we have seen the impulse water turbine. Now we are going to see the reaction water turbine in unit number 3 in detail. Basically in this unit we are going to study the definition of reaction turbine, classification of reaction water turbine, construction, principle of working, velocity diagram and analysis of reaction turbine, the term degree of reaction specially used in reaction turbine, performance characteristics of all the hydraulic turbines, draft tubes, types and analysis which is specially used in reaction turbine, causes and remedies for cavitation phenomenon which is occurring in reaction turbine, dimensional analysis of hydraulic turbines, and specific speed for all the hydraulic turbines. And lastly, we are going to see the governing of hydraulic turbines. So this much is the content for reaction turbines. So let us see one by one. Basically, what do you mean by reaction turbine? Now if you remember, we have defined impulse turbine in the last unit. In the definition of impulse turbine, we have said that if at the inlet of the turbine the water possesses only kinetic energy and no pressure energy, then it is called as a impulse turbine. Okay. While the reaction turbine is one in which the water possesses kinetic energy as well as pressure energy. Okay. So there is a basic difference between impulse and reaction, that is, at the inlet of the turbine, that is nothing but the exit of the nozzle, the energy is kinetic energy in case of impulse turbine, but in case of reaction turbine there is no nozzle. The arrangement is made such that there is both kinetic energy as well as pressure energy. So total pressure energy or potential energy in the dam, that is converted totally into kinetic energy in case of impulse turbine. But in case of reaction turbine, it is partially converted into kinetic energy and partially it is converted into pressure energy. So still pressure energy is there. While in case of impulse turbine, the pressure was atmospheric at the exit of the nozzle. That's why here the pressure is not atmospheric, it is above atmospheric, and the pressure goes on reducing inside the runner. So in case of impulse turbine, the pressure is atmospheric throughout the runner of the turbine, while in case of reaction turbine, the pressure is not atmospheric, it is above atmospheric, and it is brought to the atmospheric pressure at the exit of the runner. Whether it is atmospheric or below atmospheric, that we will see afterwards. But for the time being, you remember, in reaction turbine the water possesses both kinetic energy as well as pressure energy. That is the main difference. Okay, so as the water flows through the runner, the water is under pressure and the pressure energy goes on changing into kinetic energy inside the runner, and the runner, hence the runner is completely enclosed in an airtight casing, and the casing has a function, hydraulic function, of converting the pressure into kinetic energy. Okay, so that's why the runner is completely full of water in case of reaction turbine. If the water flows in the radial direction through the runner, the turbine is called as a radial flow turbine, and if the water flows in axial direction, that is nothing but in the direction of the shaft, okay, shaft axis, parallel to the axis of the shaft or axis of rotation of runner, that turbine is called as a axial flow turbine. If water flows through the runner in the radial direction but leaves the turbine in the direction parallel to the axis, means partly radial, partly axial, then that turbine is called as a mixed flow turbine. Already this classification we have seen. Okay, let us see one by one in detail radial flow turbine, axial flow turbine and mixed flow turbine. So first of all, what do you mean by radial flow turbine? Radial flow turbines are those turbines in which water flows in the radial direction, as the name suggests. The water may flow radially from outward to inward, okay, or it may flow from inward to outward. So there are two again classifications of radial flow turbine. It may be radially inward or radially outward. If the water flows from outward to inward, that turbine is known as inward radial flow turbine, and if the water flows from inward to outward, that turbine is known as a outward radial flow turbine. The function of both is same, to produce power, only the direction difference is there. Okay, mostly inward radial flow turbines are used in practice. Okay, so let us see in detail the inward radial flow turbine. The main parts of the radial flow reaction turbine. If you see in this diagram, this is a penstock. Okay, there is no dam shown. It's only the turbine construction is shown. The penstock, from the penstock the water is entering into the turbine runner. Okay, so before entering to the runner there is some casing. This is a casing, and throughout the casing the water flows, and then after casing the water is entering into the guide wheel. That guide wheel is nothing but these are the guide vanes which are attached to the guide wheel. Okay, so these guide wheels are nothing but they are guiding the water smoothly to the runner wheels. Okay, so that the water will not directly strike to the runner wheel, and there will be no any damage to the runner wheel. So guide vanes are guiding the water smoothly at a particular angle to the guide vanes or runner vanes. Okay, so that is the function of guide vanes. Okay, so then the runner vanes, water enters into the runner wheel, and this is the runner. Okay, this is the runner where the pressure also goes on decreasing. As the definition we have seen, the pressure energy is converted into kinetic energy and pressure energy. So water is under pressure when it enters into the turbine, and when it enters into the guide vane, the pressure is partially decreased. Okay, after that again when it enters into the runner, again the pressure is decreased. So pressure goes on decreasing. So that was not the case in case of impulse turbine. Once it is entering into the runner, it was open to atmosphere. That's why the pressure was not decreasing. Only kinetic energy was used. But here the both kinetic energy and pressure energy are utilized in case of reaction turbine. Now let us see what are the main parts of the reaction turbine. First one is a casing. Okay, this one is a casing. There are types of casing: spiral casing, volute casing, that we will see in detail. Second one is a guide mechanism. Guide mechanism is nothing but this guide wheel. Third one is a runner. This is the runner on which the runner vanes are mounted. And fourth one is a draft tube. Okay, draft tube is not shown in this figure, but to the shaft, okay, the draft tube is attached. Okay, that function of draft tube we will see in detail, the theory of draft tube. Now let us see one by one each part. Casing, as mentioned above, the casing in case of reaction turbine, it is always full of water, and the water from the penstock enters the casing which is of spiral shape. Okay, spiral shape means the area goes on decreasing gradually, spirally, and the casing completely surrounds the runner of the turbine. So it is a spiral shape so that water may enter the runner at constant velocity. It is given that shape in such a way that to each vane, guide vane, the water will enter at a constant velocity throughout the circumference of the runner, and that's why this is a very important function of casing. It is made up of generally concrete, cast steel or plate steel. Then guide mechanism. Guide mechanism is nothing but it is a stationary circular wheel. It is not rotating. Runner is rotating, but guide mechanism or guide wheel is not rotating. It is surrounded to the runner. Okay, and function I have told you, there are stationary guide vanes fixed on the guide mechanism. The guide vanes allow the water to strike the vanes fixed on the runner without shock at the inlet, and also by suitable arrangement the width between two adjacent vanes of guide mechanism can be altered so that the amount of water striking the runner can be varied. Discharge can be varied with the help of guide vanes. The runner, it is a circular wheel on which series of radial curved vanes are fixed to the surface of the vane. These wheels are fixed on the runner. Okay, and they cannot be adjusted. Okay, the radial curved vanes are so shaped that water enters and leaves the runner without shock. Okay, and the runners are made up of cast steel, cast iron or stainless steel. They are keyed to the shaft. And then draft tube. Now I have told you the draft tube is having important function. The pressure at the exit of the runner of a reaction turbine is generally less than atmospheric pressure. Okay, so the last limit we have seen in case of Pelton turbine also, the pressure was atmospheric pressure. But here the added advantage of using the draft tube is that we can reduce the pressure below atmospheric, and we can make use of that added decrement in pressure or that pressure head change. Okay, so that you can produce extra power. The water at exit cannot directly discharge to the tail race because of this reduction in pressure, that is the vacuum. So vacuum is created, so you can't take this water directly to the tail race, so you have to provide some tube, okay, which is gradually increasing the pressure. Okay, that's why there is a tube that is called the draft tube, which is a pipe of gradually increasing area used for discharging water from the exit of the turbine to the tail race. What is the function of draft tube? What is the use of draft tube? That we will see in detail, okay, afterwards. Then inward radial flow turbine. As I have told you, the definition of inward radial flow turbine, if you see in this figure, these are the guide vanes. Okay, when water enters into the guide vanes, okay, it is entering from outward to inward. That's why such a turbine is called as an inward flow radial turbine. Okay, if you see the side view, in side view also, if you see the guide vanes, the water enters like this and it is radially inward. Okay, so water is entering from guide vanes to the runner vanes and then going outside. Okay, so that is a radial inward turbine. Velocity diagram and work done, that also we are going to see. Before that, efficiencies of a turbine. Now the efficiencies for a turbine, they are same as that of the impulse turbine. If you remember, in case of impulse turbine, we have seen the same efficiencies: hydraulic efficiency, mechanical efficiency, volumetric efficiency and overall efficiency. Their definitions are also same. Okay, only inside the definitions a slight formula change in case of only hydraulic efficiency, because if you remember, in impulse turbine the total pressure energy was converted totally into kinetic energy, but here pressure energy is converted partially into kinetic and partially into pressure. That's why the formula, if you remember, for hydraulic efficiency in case of impulse turbine, it was 2 times VW1 plus minus VW2 into U divided by V1 square. Okay, there was kinetic energy represented to V1 square. Here we are not allowed to use that V1 square in this case, because there is no conversion of total pressure energy into kinetic energy. So it is partially converted to kinetic energy and partially to pressure energy. That's why we are going to take the water power, okay, which was taken as a kinetic energy, half mv square. Here we are going to take it as a mgh. Okay, so instead of v1 square we are going to use h, that is capital H, head, that is pressure head. Okay, total potential head that we are going to use for input power. So that we'll see in detail. Hydraulic efficiency, it is defined as a ratio of power given by the water to the runner of the turbine to the power supplied by the water at the inlet of the turbine. If you remember, then hydraulic efficiency is given by runner power upon water power. So runner power, you know well, that is, it is given by rho q into VW1 plus minus VW2 into U. Okay, this W by G is nothing but rho q, that is m dot, okay, mass flow rate. So it is this famous formula obtained from impulse momentum principle. Next, work done per second on the runner, it is, as I have told you, it is rho q into VW1 plus minus VW2 U2. Okay, then the U1, you know, here U1 and U2 are different, which were same in case of impulse turbine. Now it is a radial curved vane, that's why U1 and U2 are not same, they are different. So while calculating U1, you have to take pi d1 n by 60, and U2 you have to take pi d2 n by 60, because the inlet and outlet, they are at a different distance from the center line of the shaft. So the work done per unit weight, it is also one of the formula, work done per second per unit weight of water per second. In some numericals it is asked, so you have to remember work done per second upon weight of water striking per second. It is given by VW1 U1 plus minus VW2 U2 upon G. Okay, so it is in terms of head, you can also say it is also called as a Euler's head, or it is also known as Euler's equation. Okay, then hydraulic efficiency, as we have seen, runner power upon water power, and water power you are going to take as a GH. Okay, GH, that you have to remember. So which was taken as, if you remember, the formula was 2 times VW1 plus minus VW2 into bracket multiplied by U, only U, because U1 and U2 were equal for impulse turbine. Now U1 and U2 are not equal, that's why it is VW1 U1 plus minus VW2 U2. There is no 2, because that half mv square, that half was going above, it was becoming 2. Now here there is no 2, here it is only, the formula change is VW1 U1 plus minus VW2 U2 upon GH. That is the formula for hydraulic efficiency, that you have to remember in detail. That is the hydraulic efficiency. Now before moving further, we have to see one important term, that is called the degree of reaction. Okay, that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.